Hey there, friends, and thanks for tuning into the show. I'm Tony Berardo, and as always, I'm here with my beautiful wife, Brenda. Hello.
Hello. If y'all didn't know, we started a business called Meet Cute Box, where we'll send you and your partner a curated date night box every month full of items only from local businesses around the world.
That's right. But on this podcast, we're going to research some relationship advice, give out date night ideas, and much, much more.
Thanks for joining us, and hope you'll tell a friend and subscribe.
Well, let's get started, shall we, babe?
Let's.
This is a very unique podcast, and it's actually the first time the wife and I have been a guest on another podcast together. So this was fun. Lindsay, Hanson, host of Quit Your Job, Sis. It's a podcast that's available on all platforms. She was nice enough to have us on her show. I wanted to share most of the podcast with you guys because I thought there was some really good nuggets in there, and Lindsay is just a great podcaster, so feel free to follow her podcast, which is a lot of fun, and I'll leave the links in the description below. But without further ado, enjoy today's episode.
I can't wait to hear more about Meet Cute and how you guys started the business. So Tony and Brenda, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Yeah,
wow.
Jeez,
Yeah.
it's already
Nice.
beginning. We're gonna Thanks for
Already
having
talking
us.
over each other. It's
Yeah,
good. I
right.
like it. Okay, so to start, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what inspired you guys to start Meet Cute.
Like you said, we during the pandemic of 2020, there was a virus
Mhm.
during that year.
Oh, there
If
was?
you guys remember, yeah. We were stuck at home, and we live in Florida, and we had a condo rather, and it was a 3-story condo, but it was about 1,200
Ooh.
square feet.
Yeah.
There's no doors. A condo, a loft style. There was no windows or doors, so we were just stuck. And she's working from home. I'm working from home. Every time she's on a
Yep.
call, I get yelled at because she can hear my voice, and we couldn't go out. We couldn't do anything outdoors or do date nights. So we were literally like Bruce Banner inside Hulk, just ready to explode. So we thought, well, if we can't go out and do restaurants and movies and things like that, like what can we do? So we started creating kind of these unique date nights. One of our favorite is what we call meal swap. So that's featured in a
Ooh.
couple boxes per year, where we'll actually write out each other's favorite meals as like a surprise, and then we'll swap it, and each of us have to cook those meals. And if you know anything about my wife, she's not the best cook, so that's always a fun one for me. But things like that. So we started thinking of creative date nights, and we had this plethora of date nights, and we decided to just turn it into a business and just kind of carry on, that excitement and that creativity with our friends and family. And then it just kind of grew to what it is now, which is a membership box, subscription box.
Yeah, I love that story. I'm sure all of the couples listening can relate if
Yeah.
they were living together during 2020. Once you guys had this idea, how did you go about turning it into an actual business?
Wow, that's a lengthy process. Basically, from conception, if we will, it's a lot of back end stuff. We wanted to make sure that we had, the inventory, and we had the ideas already in place. That way we're not like scrambling at the time. And we wanted to make sure that we had things in line. And of course, he's more of the behind the scenes. He's owned a business before. So he was kind of like the tax papers and this and submitting, for
the
the
fun
business
stuff.
license. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I order?
Yeah, and she's great at the ordering.
Yes.
Online and spending money. So
I'm great at shopping.
Yes.
I love making gift boxes. I also made them for my friends for like birthdays and stuff. I always do that. So I just kind of implemented that into this as well.
Exactly. And the hardest part, if anybody out there is wanting to start a business, the big thing for us was, looking into names, trademarks. Surprisingly, the only thing that even remotely has Meet Cute in it is like a really fun podcast and a website where it's almost like a blog. And that's
Yeah.
just meetcute.com. And we looked at that and we're like, okay, well, it's just talking about movies, but there's no other business that, because to me, there's date night boxes out there for sure. You can buy them. There's some really great ones that we've picked up in the past. They're just a little too pricey for what our budget was. I don't believe that anybody has come up with the idea for this, because a date night is so unique and special, but we're like, well, how can we implement it and make it a business? And we figured the best way to do that, especially like we said during the pandemic, the one thing that was struggling in this country was what? Small businesses. And we said, what can we do to take those small businesses and create brand awareness? Because now these small businesses can barely pay the bills, let alone put out Facebook ads and Instagram ads and hire social media managers. So they can't get brand awareness. So what can we do? And that's where we decided to reach out to them. It took us about a year, realistically, to build up kind of like a Rolodex of these local businesses that we wanted to work with. We both reached out to them individually and said, hey, this is the concept. This is what we're trying to do. Would you be interested? And a lot of them said yes. A lot of them said no. But the ones that said yes, we were like, okay, great. We love the product. And then we would design a date night around those products. And now we have the next 6 months kind of planned. So every single day we're planning 6 months out. So that way we can continuously work with new local businesses every month. And it's not the same thing that you get from these typical date nights where it's the same theme box every month. That was the hard part, is like getting that Rolodex, and very time consuming. I mean, we just launched it this year in 2022. So from the time we thought of the idea in our pajamas in the condo, it took 2 years.
Over
essentially.
a couple glasses of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another great thing that you're good at buying. That's the wine online. that held up quick. So yeah.
Well, that's what I really love about Meet Cute, is that you guys work with small businesses. And so you're able to, one, build brand awareness for these businesses that have been struggling for the past 2 years, and also include some really unique products in the boxes that other maybe bigger subscription boxes aren't going to have, right? And they're going to be like more generic date nights. So I just love the entire concept of what you're doing and helping small businesses.
Thanks.
So were there any, and I'm sure there were, challenges that you guys faced from starting a business during the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, well, I would say the hardest thing, because currently still we both have full-time jobs. So we've
Oh, wow.
done all this while both working and not getting fired because we're good at our full-time jobs. So that's, I think, a key point if our bosses are listening.
It's the main money right there.
Yeah. So we kind of mainly did it as like a hobby, you know what I mean? Because she's so creative and likes to make things. But we're like, we got to pay the bills, but let's do this as fun. And if it goes somewhere, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But then within 2 years, we're like, whoa, we got legs here. Like, this has potential. So now we're slowly kind of, spending a lot more time on it, weekends, after work. Before it was just a couple hours a week, but now it's every day. After work at 5 p.m., it's 5 to 8, 7 days a week. And, we're just really going hard with that. So that's probably been the biggest challenge, right? Would you say?
I would agree. People think, oh, you can just start a business, launch the website, see what happens. But it is a second job, technically, because you have to work on those things and be ready. Subscribers, it could be 2 tomorrow and 3 the next day. And now you're having to build those boxes because you want to make sure that you're on top of it and making sure that people are getting things on time. Because at the end of the day,
that's what people do.
Yeah.
That's what
the most important thing is making sure that they get it on time. There's no complaints or anything. And it's a full-time job on top of a full-time job.
Yeah. So then it's also like the sacrificing of, so I think we're going to have to watch less Ozark. You know what I mean? Like there's
less Netflix and chill.
Right.
What a sacrifice. Yeah. So do you feel like you guys are spending more time together now that you also are building a business together? How has that dynamic been?
I feel like it's in a date night in itself, to be fair. I mean, because during the work during the work day, he's in his office, I'm in my office most of the time. We'll like meet up for our lunch break. We'll go downstairs, have lunch together. Yeah. But we'll still be kind of brainstorming ideas then. And then after work, we're actively, engaging with each other because we're not both sitting on opposite ends of the couch on the phone. We have a separate Meet Cute office in our guest room. So we're just kind of in there working on it. So I feel like it's a bonding thing. We're definitely tired, but
for sure.
But it's good.
But, we figured, we've said this from the get-go, like when we first started, when I opened up a LLC and reached out to these vendors, we're like, we're not going to half-ass this, to quote my man, Ron Swanson, don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. And we figured, well, we could whole-ass multiple things. We just won't be able to do the Netflix all the time and spend time on the phone all the time. And we might not be able to go to concerts all the time. But if we could make this short-term sacrifice, it'll have some long-term laziness in the end is kind of the goal.
Yes.
So, but we have to work hard for the next couple of years, and we're okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's always the payoff, and also good advice for, I mean, Ron Swanson always gives great advice,
Yes, he
but for
does.
anyone who currently is starting a side hustle or thinking about starting a side hustle and really thinking about the time that you have to dedicate to it if you want it to actually grow into something, like it's not going to grow on its own, you know?
That's right.
And so it might mean sacrificing some other things temporarily to really build something that can grow into a full-time business.
Yeah, and I will say, just to add on to that, there's a lot of people out there that live with their parents in their 20s that can
Hmm.
afford to just quit their job and open a business, and I think you should do it. But
Yeah.
if you're like us, we're in our mid 30s. We're looking to start a family soon. We've been in the corporate America world for our whole lives, and we're
Hmm.
just financially, it wouldn't make sense for us to leave it quite yet,
Yeah.
because we have a mortgage and like everyone else, bills and a lot of responsibilities. We've had real estate properties in the past, and we've sold and flipped those to make a profit, and we have a massive savings that we've dedicated to a business. And we knew during the pandemic, we're like, we could go to Italy and hang out there for 5 weeks,
Hmm.
or we could open up a business. And trust me, that was a
That
very
was a tough
tough
decision.
decision.
That sounds like a hard decision.
Yes. But we're like, again, let's do this. Let's crank it out for the next couple of years, and then we'll go to Italy for 10 weeks because we'll have more money.
Yeah.
So when we have
Yeah,
that nest egg
exactly.
because we planned years out. So I think that's important if you're looking to open a business, is don't just open it to open it because everyone's doing it.
Hmm.
Just, take your time and have a plan, a 5-year plan and a goal and a mission statement and stuff. So
Such good advice. Okay, let's dive a little bit more into what is actually involved in the Meet Cute boxes and how does the subscription service work? And then what can subscribers expect to get inside of their boxes every month?
I'll take that. So there's a few different options. You can do a couples option, there's a singles option, and we also have gift options. So those are kind of one-offs, if you want to send something to a friend. Generally, I mean, every box is going to be different every month. There's going to be different vendors that we deal with, but like he mentioned earlier, we get like a main featured item and kind of base the
Mm.
date night around that. For example, like the meal swap one, we did notebooks, pens in order for them to switch and do the meal swap. And then we kind of did some self-care stuff.
mm-hmm.
We threw in some, beverage mixes. So like while you're cooking, you guys can drink together and kind of do that.
And then we
So-
had some cool silicone cups.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
those?
That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
a silicone cup. So, they could mix drinks, cook together, but they're both cooking different things. So it's going to be a basic theme, but it's always going to be different just because the different products that we have from different vendors, we try to switch it up. It could be self-care. It could be, things to do outside. It could be a little bit of a paint night. Like
that's
it's
cool.
like a mini paint night.
Mm.
So you guys can, go to a beach or go to a park and you guys can just paint and have a drink together. Something just different than just the normal things that you would do on a normal night.
And I could almost guarantee, like, we make a point with our vendors that you can't buy any of the stuff on Amazon. So
Yeah.
like each of our items you're going to look at that and be like, what is this? I don't even know what this is. And then, of course, once
Mhm.
you open the box, we have a really cool envelope that's, custom made just for the members. And then there's a QR code that you scan that with your phone and it brings you to the link of our website. You can only access if you're a member. And then it tells you exactly what's in your box, from every
Mm.
item to what the item is and the company name and their social media handles. So let's say, for instance, like she was mentioning those notebooks and cups that we had on one of our books. Well, we'll actually give you. It's called Me Mother Earth. Shout out to Me Mother Earth. We've worked with them a lot on some boxes. Really cool stuff. It's all recyclable, planet friendly items that they hand make. So you can actually reach out to them personally, and if you just want to buy stuff from them, we'll give you that website so that way you could do it. And that's the one thing, again, that I think our box has that a lot of date night boxes, or really subscription boxes in general, well, we'll give you the opportunity to actually reach out to those people directly. And these are folks that have like
Yeah.
1,000 members, or excuse me, 1,000 followers on Instagram. Like they're not,
Mhm.
like they need 10 people a month who would be perfect. So, we figured if we can give the members that opportunity.
Yeah. And I feel like that's my favorite part of it, is the fact that they can go directly to them and buy and help their small business where we're not benefiting from them. It's just
Yeah.
giving them that awareness and adding those people, because once those people visit their website, they're going to recommend others, and it just kind of grows from there. And that's kind of like that 2022 word of mouth type of deal.
If people remember what that is, word of mouth
I
instead
know.
of social media.
Do people know that? I don't know.
So word of
I'm sure
mouth
my
is where
listeners do.
if I like something, I tell you, not on the phone, but face to face. That's a new thing we're doing.
How do you guys find the people who you partner with, the companies that you partner with?
A lot of different ways. I
Always.
mean, Instagram, I think a couple of them I saw on TikTok.
Yeah.
They just like randomly popped up, but it's like they were just kicking off and we messaged them. Tony messaged them mostly because he's more savvy when it comes to that stuff. I'll just screenshot it. I'll be like, here, like, go ahead and message him. But yeah, I mean.
Well, one of my buddies lives in the UK, reached out to me and said, hey, man, there's this soap company that I think would be cool. So we're going to, and we don't typically do this, by the way. So watchers out there. So like what you got, Lindsay, if someone's listening and buys a box, they're never going to get that box. Like once we do it, we might do something similar next year, but there's a 12-month window where we won't do that box again. So this box in particular.
Sorry to disappoint you guys who want my same box.
Lindsay is, what a tease. She's like, oh, these cool cups and this candle. But this is at a UK, so you're never going to be able to buy this unless you go directly to them. It's Glasgow Soap Company, if you could see that, folks. I wish you could smell this because it's handmade soap. It's Beach Bellini is the scent. And those are just, but again, my buddy reached out and said, hey, you should call these guys. So I literally just messaged them, set up a phone call and, said, hey, can we do this? And we put it together and I order a bunch of stuff and I'm just going to keep it here because I know I could figure out a way to use it eventually. So that's kind of what we do. Sometimes it's friends, sometimes social media.
We've gone to a couple of farmers markets too and found some vendors there as well. Right. They were like small vendors.
Yeah, like a local honey company we worked with that was really cool. We're open to anything. I mean, if anybody's out there listening that owns a business that maybe it would be a good demo. I mean, for us, it's 18 to 45, mostly female. Probably skews like 55, 45 female. And it's worldwide. I mean, we have members from, like I said, UK and all over the world. So like from now to the rest of our lives, every month is going to be different. So there's no like cap that we're going to reach where we're going to stop working with people. Because when local businesses don't need money anymore, I think is when we're probably going to shut down the company.
Yeah.
But there's always a need.
Yeah, but that might not happen. So we're going to be around for a while. Yeah.
So you also mentioned you have a singles box. So what would be included in those?
So the singles box we modify a little bit because obviously we can't put a date night in there. But we'll do something potentially similar. Maybe throw in, instead of like the feature item for the date night, we'll throw in something different depending on the box, just for them to have, their time. Me time.
Me time.
Would
be me time. Yeah.
They always have me time, but like my friend's single and she ordered a singles box and she was just like, I love it. I think we put masks, like face masks that we found from a local vendor.
It was like
bath
a
salt.
self-care box.
Yeah, like a self-care box. I mean, we have one that's coming up. I'm not going to say what it is, but that one will work with couples and singles.
That's
because it's kind of like it could be both ways.
For sure. And it's all, again, we keep saying based off profile because when you first sign up, we have you fill out probably like 6 or 7 questions, and based off that profile, we get that, and then we'll customize every box like that. And you can change it constantly. So let's say if you're single this month, and then boom, you get a spouse in like a couple months, you could change it again and upgrade your membership to a couples box. It's everything from the colors you like to if you like to drink alcohol or tea or coffee, because we've mentioned a few boxes that have booze in it, or not in it rather, but the tools to make booze. But if you don't like to drink, we're not going to put that in. We're going to put in something different. So it's truly customizable based off each member.
Yeah, I love that. And you had me fill out those questions too. So it's definitely customized, you guys. They're not lying. I'm so excited I can finally open all these things. Oh my goodness. Yeah, how do you guys come up with the date night ideas? It's just you guys thinking of the ideas, or do you ever like source them from somewhere else?
I've gotten ideas just from
like inspiration.
Yeah, like inspiration stuff. But at the same time, we'll just be sitting there and be like, wouldn't it be fun if we did this? And then we'll just be like, that's a date night. Yeah. Like the meal swap thing, we just came up with it. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool? Like, remember when you were a kid and you always ate that one thing? Like, I'm definitely a creature of habit. And when I like something, I'll eat that till death. Yeah. Like, I'll just be like, all right, now I'm over it. Yeah. But we just started talking about that. And I was like, that'd be fun to do. Like, cook each other's meals and see how well you guys do it. Yeah. Even make it a contest. Some people are competitive. And then there that came.
That's right. And we never think of something that we don't either try or would do ourselves. So we make sure it makes sense because, again, members are paying $30, $40, but each box is valued at up to $100. All of our boxes include free shipping. So, but we figured we want to make sure it's worth it. So we don't want to do something and then it takes 5 minutes and then it's like, oh, that was it. So we really want to make sure it's creative, fun. It takes time. Maybe like the one we have coming up here in August that we're shipping out this week, actually. That one's going to be in a course of a weekend if you want. You could duck it out in like one Saturday, but we designed it to where you can spread out in 3 days. So, that's one thing we really try to do is to make sure we like it and we test it first and make sure it goes over well. And then we'll send it to our members. That's why, again, like I was saying, we always do 6 months in advance. We like to plan it out. Gives us something to do too.
Maybe each of you can answer this one, but how would you say that Meet Cute has changed your relationship?
You go first.
I've been going first.
Oh, well.
Rock, paper,
it
scissors
takes me
for
a second to gather my words. You go
You want rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors. Gotcha.
Damn it.
Go.
All right. How it's helped our relationship has definitely opened up more communication, definitely amping up the compromise, because obviously visions of how things should be or what we should put are going to differ between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
But I feel like just having better communication, we're able to be more patient with each other because we're having to collaborate a lot more. And I just feel like we get a lot more quality time now rather than opposite ends of the couch on our phones or watching Netflix for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like we've bashed on Netflix. Let me say all streaming services.
Yeah.
You notice how that
it's
like
just
Netflix
so easy
is,
to say
I know.
Netflix. Like I'm not gonna be like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus,
Apple Plus, yeah.
Apple Plus.
But it's kind of genius because like when everyone came up with Netflix and chill, Netflix was like, oh yeah, that's great. But then now
it encompasses every streaming.
Yeah. So now if anything goes bad with streaming, Netflix gets the bulk of it as well.
Listen, Hulu and chill is not as smooth as Netflix and chill.
It's hard to say. Yeah. Paramount Plus and chill. So no, the one thing I think that changed for me, you nailed it. I think all those kind of left me with no answers. We should have rehearsed this, but
I'm glad I won.
You won that one. I would say that the most exciting thing for me is running a business together. I think there's something special in that. I don't know if any of your listeners have businesses together, but we, like I said earlier, we had a few real estate properties going back almost 5 years ago, and we bought those. We rented them out. We renovated them. We cleaned them. We looked after them. We did all that together in charge of the lease, and we didn't have a property manager. It was all us. So we did that for a few years, and we really, really, really liked it. And then that's when the pandemic happened, we're like, how can we run a business? And then it just kind of all came together. So I think there's good practice in that as well. Maybe like don't jump and spend $20,000 running a business with your partner right away. Maybe try like, I don't know, making an office at the house and then doing stuff together like your taxes. Like try doing that stuff together.
Yeah.
Because, if we didn't.
Sounds like a fun date night.
Let's do our taxes. What?
That's going to be our January boxes. Do your taxes.
Do your taxes.
No, but I think that's a good practice. It's just been fun to do stuff together because it's, again, it gets boring doing the same things over and over. So like running a business, there's something special in that with your partner and having that. So.
And I got to tag on because when we go out too, like anywhere, we get ideas as well, or like we'll see stuff out and be like, ooh, it would be cute to put something like that in the box. Let's see what we can find that kind of matches it literally every time.
Yeah. Like we went out at Hyde Park yesterday, or Sunday rather. And we went there and we went to this little cute craft store. And
I wanted everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to put that in there. I want to put that in there.
But like now our things have changed like our mindsets where we used to go on Amazon or used to go to these stores, these farmers market, like, oh, this would be great for us this weekend to use. But now the only thing we do is take a picture of it and say, this will be great for the Meet Cute box. Like that I think is probably the biggest thing that changes. We're looking at items differently because we're like, will our members like this? Like that's how kind of our perceptions change a little bit on it. But it's been fun.
Yeah. I feel like once you start a business, your mind is just kind of on entrepreneur mode all the time. Like I cannot scroll social media anymore without just thinking like, oh, I could use that trend and make this video or my client could use it.
True.
Like it's impossible, but it keeps things interesting.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's funny.
It's so true.
Yeah, my For You page is all entrepreneurs and trending sounds and
small businesses.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
every now and then I want a stupid video, but it's the
Yeah.
algorithm.
You messed it up.
I messed it up.
Okay, so how can the listeners get started if they want to sign up for Meet Cute, or if there are small business listeners who have a product that they think would suit Meet Cute Box well?
Well, you can go to the meetcutebox.com website, and there is, the tab for members and
Partners now.
yeah, partners. So partners tab, so you can go in and submit an application for that for us to consider, take a look at it, because obviously we want to make sure that
It
the product
fits, yeah.
fits and on brand and things like that. Everything's on the website. We even have our blogs on there and all the information regarding each box. So if they're couples, singles, or gifts, for the gifts, you can set up, it's still the same profile questions, but obviously you're going to customize a little bit more just because if you're gifting it to somebody, you can write a message, just personalized message, but everything's on the website.
Yeah, meetcutebox.com, and yeah, you just you can cancel anytime, by the way, too. So if you just want to do it for a couple months, see how you like it, and then cancel. There's no
Try it out.
fees or
Yeah.
anything like that, and you don't have to give us like a 60-day notice like a gym membership. Like it's you get your box, then yeah, you want to do it.
We also have a discount code, right? Is it newbie?
We do, yes.
We
Just
do have
because
a
you
discount
listen
code
to
for you
Lindsay's
guys.
podcast. Yeah, code,
Just for you guys. So it's newbie, NEWBIE, for, is it 10% off your first box?
no, we're way nicer than that to your listeners. $10 off.
Oh.
And that'll be so the $10 off your first box. So if you get a couples box, normally $40 free shipping. Your first box will be $30 free shipping. And then moving forward, it'll be $39.99. But again, same thing goes with singles as well. So if you're singles out there, $10 off that as well.
Awesome. So try it out, you guys. I'll leave all the links in the show notes or the YouTube description, depending on where you're listening to this. And before we wrap up, Tony and Brenda, I would love to hear from you. What advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who are just starting out in their business?
I would say go 100% in. And if you're not ready to go 100% in, I don't suggest it.
Yeah.
Like you literally have to go balls to the wall. Because that's the thing too. Like I feel like a thing that's a problem now is that people don't want to do the work. We can all be guilty of that every once in a while, but you have to do the work, 100% commit, and do the research. Make sure that it's something that's going to be a commitment for at least the first 2 years, because for the first 2 years, it's going to be the grind is going to be for that first 2 years.
That's
and
right.
then you can reap some benefits and relax.
That's right.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, if you do.
Hopefully, if you do it right.
And then, the only thing I would say is with everything that's going on and all the innovation that's happening constantly and social media continuously growing minute by minute, if you're working a regular corporate job, there's nothing wrong with that because you're making money. But if you don't love it, it might be better just to get rid of your brand new Honda Civic and go buy a used car. Maybe Uber everywhere. If you do the math, you Uber and you spend $10-$20 a day, times that by 5 days a week to work. That's cheaper than a car payment and insurance. So find ways to
And
cut
gas.
and gas.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, gas now.
And, find ways to kind of not cut corners, but cut your expenses, keep your what they call break even. So you want to keep your break even as low as possible so you don't have a lot of bills and a lot of overhead. And just focus on not spending money and investing into something that you love to do. Because if, you only have 70 years on this earth, 50 of them you're going to be working your ass off. So you might as well do something that you love. If you don't like what you do right now, just quit.
Might as well work your ass off for something that you are building instead of building something for someone else.
Yeah.
That's right. And if you don't love what you do, then you're not going to like what you do, which means every single day you go into work, you're going to hate it. And why would you want to? Why would
Live
you
your
want to do
life
that?
like that.
Yeah,
Ugh.
this crazy talk.
Sounds terrible. That's why I started a whole podcast about it.
Which, by the way, love your podcast. We listened to a couple episodes. It's really cool. Very very cool what you're
thank
doing.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Tony and Brenda, thank you guys so much for coming on. Everybody go check out Meet Cute. I can't wait to dive into all of this stuff. I'm
Can't wait to
literally
hear about it.
eating these candies as soon as we sign out of here. So it was a pleasure having you guys on, and thank you again.
Thank you for
Lindsay.
having us.